6 sierpnia 2025 roku to dzień, który przeszedł do historii Polski, bo oczywiście rozpoczęła się przełomowa, jak wszyscy na to liczymy, kadencja prezydenta Karola Nawrockiego. I na tą okazję do Warszawy zjechali polityczni przyjaciele ludzi, którzy promują konserwatywną agendę na całym świecie i w całej Europie. No i jedną z takich osób jest pan Miklos Szantho, który zajmuje się i pracuje z CPAC Węgry. Jest to jeden z założycieli tego think tanku. Dalsza rozmowa będzie po angielsku, ale państwo za chwileczkę usłyszą tłumaczenie. Sir, welcome to Warsaw, first of all.
Dziękuję bardzo, dzień dobry.
Yesterday was a significant day in the history of Poland, and you've been witnessing it in person. So could you share your thoughts and your emotions that you had yesterday?
I really felt that my Polish friends, my Polish patriotic, conservative friends really needed this day, really needed yesterday, really needed the ceremony and the symbolic meaning of the inauguration of President Nawrocki. I think during these very dark days, months, even years of the Tusk regime, the victory and inauguration of such kind of a brave, patriotic, real Polish president as Nawrocki can give hope not only to the Polish right, but to the conservatives, right-wingers, nationalists, patriots all over Europe.
You've been also listening, or though in translation, the first speeches of the president. And what conclusion you draw from that?
What I've heard from the freshly inaugurated President Nawrocki is that he is for normalcy, he is for normality, he is for common sense, he is for the family, for national identity, and he really opposes the centralization of the European Union, the dictates of Brussels, this whole woke and gender insanity. And I think that President Nawrocki has a much more common sense based mindset if it comes to the war in the Ukraine.
Yeah, that's basically the platform on which Donald Trump ran in the United States last year. And is this something universal? Are we witnessing the birth of the universal conservative platform, which can be described in very simple sentences, understandable to everyone?
Yes, I think the basis of the new common sense politics, Europe-wide or worldwide or Western civilization-wide, are those buzzwords: God, homeland, and the family. I'm saying this because the new fault line, and the most important fault line, division line, in the 21st century, in the politics of the 21st century, is not really more between conservatives and liberals, or the right and the left, but between sovereignists and globalists. Globalists are trying to undermine national identity. Globalists are trying to undermine state sovereignty. Globalists are trying to take away our national pride, national history. They are trying to take away our children. And they are trying to take away our families. They are warmongers, like, for example, Donald Tusk here in Poland, the puppet of Brussels, the puppet of the European People's Party and Manfred Weber. We in Hungary, we do have our Donald Tusk, the Hungarian Donald Tusk, called Péter Magyar, who is also the puppet of the globalists of Manfred Weber and of the European People's Party of Brussels. But we do have heroes. We do have heroes like Donald Trump. We do have heroes like the Polish right-wing movement and Karol Nawrocki. We do have heroes and leaders like Prime Minister Viktor Orbán in Hungary.
We will go into details, definitely, sir, but let us try to figure out why the globalists have this agenda that you described.
Because they would like to build up a worldwide village. Because as it was several times declared by George Soros or the leaders of the European Union themselves, they would like to see no nations, no national identity, no borders. they would like to see some kind of global government, and as a first step, they would like to create the United States of Europe. That's why they are backing migration. That's why they are trying to eliminate all kind of local traditions from Portugal to Lithuania, because they would like to see a centralized European Union with a waterhead and HQ in Brussels, but with no competences for the member states. And I think not only conservatives, but common sense people and common sense politicians realized that in South America, in the US, in Europe, in Israel, we face the very same globalist threat that tries to demolish our traditions, our civilization, our nations, and our families and our children. And that is the engine that fueled the international conservative or common sense cooperation.
Yeah, which moves us now to the CPAC,
Exactly.
CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Committee, which is the feature of the American political life. Yet, Hungary was the country that our Hungarian conservatives were the people who involved very much in this organization. Now, this example is followed by, for example, Poland. So what were your motivation to join CPAC?
Our motivation was 4 years ago to establish CPAC Hungary was that, first of all, what I mentioned, that we, common sense conservative people, we face the very same globalist threats all over the world. And additionally, it encouraged us to think it through. If the enemy, because it's not an opposition, it's a global enemy, that enemy is very well organized internationally. Internationalism is in the DNA of the liberals and of the socialists. But if they are so very well organized at the international level, we conservatives, we sovereignists, we patriots should do the same. And the liberals are trying to tell us that you conservatives, you sovereignists, you are unable to cooperate at the international level. But the example of CPAC Hungary, of CPAC Poland, showed us that because of the threat against our most cherished values is that global. We should and we can give a global, internationally organized answer. And this is why Brussels or the American progressives are so frustrated, because they do see that there is a living coalition of common sense forces from Donald Trump to Karel Nawrocki or to Prime Minister Viktor Orban. And they see us that we are getting stronger and stronger every and each day, and step by step, election and election, we will take back our countries, now beginning with Poland, next time in the autumn in the Czech Republic with Andrej Babiš, then next time in Slovenia with Janez Janša, and I can assure you that the Hungarian right-wing and Prime Minister Orban will win on the upcoming Hungarian elections early next year.
Yeah, because what we are doing, we are calling to the common sense of the people, and they understand the message. And obviously the question of Hungary is very important, because you have this backlash against the Viktor Orban, organized very much by Brussels, but also by the local, as you say, Donald Tusk.
Yes, we feel it, and I think that it's obvious that that this Hungarian campaign period in the forthcoming 7-8 months will be very, very tough, because the last standing bastion, in power as a politician, is of common sense in Europe, in the EU, is Viktor Orban and the Hungarian conservative government, because we say no to migration, we say no to gender, we say no to the war, and we say no to the accelerated accession of Ukraine to the European Union. And the most important goal of the European Union, of Brussels, of von der Leyen and of Manfred Weber, is to let the migrants in, to let our kids brainwashed by this gender ideology, to continue this war, which is of course caused by Russian aggression.
On the very upper level, but
yes.
I kind of ask
yes.
you about the local Hungarian politics, and to what degree Hungarians understand the challenges
yes.
that are facing.
Yes, I will come to that. Just give me a sec. Those Brusselites are trying to act like warmongers, and now they are heavily working on to let the Ukrainian state in an accelerated way to the European Union. And Hungarian people feel those stress. They do see that something nasty is going on in Brussels, and they do see what happened here in Poland, when with the support of Brussels and with the globalist elite, Tusk became prime minister again, and he began to build up a dictatorship here in Poland, undermining democracy, undermining rule of law, attacking right-wing conservative media. Hungarian people do see what's happening here under the government of Donald Tusk, and they know and they will keep in mind that should the Hungarian version of Donald Tusk come to power in Hungary, the same would happen in my country. But again, I assure you that the conservative Hungarian movement is strong enough to win on the upcoming next elections.
Well, I keep your words on that, sir, because it's very important. And I hope that the example that set Karol Nawrocki in his campaign, his very positive messages that he was transferring to the people, and the reaction which we saw yesterday on streets of Warsaw will be also an example to, for example, countries like Europe and Hungary to follow. Sir, thank you very much for this conversation.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Miklos Szantho, który jest przewodniczącym komitetu CPAC Węgry, był naszym gościem w telewizji Republika. Kłaniam się nisko.